So Ed, one of the things we were talking about earlier is some of the work you do at the Relational Capital Group, and one of the things I thought was intriguing was helping organizations that were and are successful, but they're operating in an old model. So they may have been successful in a transactional-based model where they used to just be selling stuff. Mm-hmm. Now they're selling services, right. Or they were selling one line of service that was on some type of a renewal or contract basis long-term, but there's multiple other service lines going there. It's getting more complex, and it's moving away from being transaction-based to being focused on the relationship. How do you work with the client and help them instill that relationship focus on top of a transactional model that served them well for a good period of time?
Sure, when you think about it, services, when you hear about that wrapped around products, that sounds like complexity to me.
Right.
And when there's complexity, then you've got people involved. And we've got people involved, there's relationships involved. And there's a great line, in today's environment, you can outsource, everything can be digitized, commoditized, or outsourced except for relationships. So in an environment like that, we try to instill a relational component to every interaction they're having. Think about where you stand relationally with this person, not just on a business perspective, but where are you in the relationship? Can you ask them for help? Do they trust you? What are their behaviors coming back at you? And one of the measurements or metrics we use to gauge this, I mentioned RQ earlier, we can actually look at a batch of relationships across a client, and we can give our clients a measure of the value, and we can measure over time whether they're advancing that or not, pinpoint issues, and help clear things up before they become major issues.
So you can help them look through their client base through the lens of a potential weakness in a relationship and say, we should focus on this and strengthen it. This relationship's at risk because
exactly.
the RQ says it's at risk.
Exactly.
That's pretty valuable.
It's an insight that they have maybe instinctively, but now we can actually pinpoint it, and we can prescribe different things that they should do to move that along, because they're probably sliding back down the ladder at that point.
That sounds great. Well, that wraps it up. Business relationships that last. Ed Wallace.